In the ever-churning drama of Port Charles, where secrets refuse to stay buried and the past never truly dies, the week unfolds with a sequence of events that promises to reshape relationships, expose hidden truths, and remind everyone that nothing in General Hospital stays quiet for long. From surprise appearances to confessions that stir old wounds, the residents of this small town find themselves entangled in emotional crossroads with no clear path forward. The week begins with a sight that raises eyebrows and pulses alike: Tracy Quartermain stepping into public view after weeks of noticeable absence. Her reappearance is not just a social formality or casual stroll into town. Tracy walks with purpose, her sharp eyes missing nothing and her presence commanding attention. Dressed in her trademark elegance but with a stiffness that suggests unfinished business, she quickly becomes the talk of the town. What drove her out of the shadows and into the spotlight? Some whisper it's business-related, a corporate shake-up brewing at ELQ. Others suspect family drama, perhaps involving Ned or Brooklyn. But those closest to her know better. When Tracy reappears, it usually means she's about to take control of a situation spiraling out of bounds. Meanwhile, Jordan and Curtis, whose shared history is laced with both passion and pain, find themselves unexpectedly thrown together during a chance encounter at the Metro Court. What begins as small talk soon turns into something far more intimate, a journey down memory lane neither of them expected. Jordan's guarded demeanor softens as Curtis recalls a happier time, their laughter echoing with bittersweet nostalgia. They reminisce about their early days, before betrayals and broken trust pulled them apart. There's an ease to their conversation that hasn't existed in years, a quiet understanding that maybe, just maybe, the door they closed hasn't locked forever. For a brief moment, they forget the complications of the present and allow themselves to remember a past where love wasn't weighed down by consequence. Not far from this emotional reunion, Portia watches from a distance, and confusion clouds her every thought. She's no stranger to insecurity, especially when it comes to Curtis. But seeing him connect so effortlessly with Jordan leaves her unsettled in a way she can't explain. Portia tries to rationalize it. Curtis and Jordan share a child, a history, a friendship. Of course they'd be cordial. But something about the way Curtis looks at Jordan, like he's still searching for something only she can offer, chips away at the fragile confidence Portia has worked so hard to build. Inwardly, she begins to question the foundation of her relationship. Did Curtis truly move on? Or is she just a placeholder in a heart that hasn't fully let go? Across town, another relationship is tested, though this one is still in its early bloom. Kai, the enigmatic newcomer who's already stirred curiosity among the younger crowd, decides to confide in Trina. The two have formed a bond that teeters between friendship and something more, though Trina remains hesitant. She's been hurt before, and Kai's mysterious nature doesn't help. But today, he lowers his defenses. He shares his plan, a deeply personal project involving a mental health awareness campaign he wants to launch in memory of his late sister. It's a vulnerable moment, and Trina sees a side of Kai few have, a man driven not by ambition, but by loss. She's moved by his sincerity and surprised by how much he trusts her. For the first time, she begins to wonder if she's misjudged him, and whether she's willing to risk her heart again for someone who might just understand her more than she expected. As all this unfolds, Nina finds herself at the center of yet another emotional earthquake. After weeks of believing she finally had a grasp on her future, her relationship with Sonny tentatively stable, her business ventures back on track, a sudden revelation leaves her stunned. The specifics are whispered in hushed tones at first, then confirmed by someone she never thought would betray her, Ava. The betrayal isn't romantic or financial, it's deeper. It's personal. Nina learns that someone close to her has been manipulating events behind the scenes, carefully orchestrating scenarios to isolate her from those she loves. The realization crashes over her like a tidal wave, and for the first time in a long time, she's left speechless. This moment doesn't come with an outburst. No tears. Just silence. And in that silence, Nina begins to reassess everything, her choices, her loyalties, even her own instincts. If she can't trust those closest to her, then who can she trust at all? As she stands alone in her penthouse, staring out over the Port Charles skyline, it's clear that Nina Reeves is not just stunned, she's changed. What happens next will depend not on how others treat her, but on how she decides to reclaim her power. By the week's end, Port Charles has once again shifted on its axis. Tracy is plotting in the shadows, no doubt ready to strike with strategic precision. Jordan and Curtis are on a collision course with unresolved feelings. Portia is slowly unraveling as the stability she thought she had begins to slip through her fingers. Trina finds herself pulled into Kai's world, unsure whether she's walking into healing or heartbreak. And Nina, ever the survivor, prepares to confront the lies that once blinded her. In General Hospital, nothing is permanent except change. And this week proves that sometimes, the most dangerous revelations aren't the ones shouted in rage, but the ones whispered in the quiet moments when no one is watching.